Okay, part 3. Now, first of all, select the tune you're working on for your add-ons. And we're going to add everything that, other than my core RAID stuff like CT and Aura 2, I load last. But primarily I'll show you how to adjust your SBF frames for your buffs and debuffs and sexy map. But we're going to add everything like Auctioneer, there's certain programs like Pally Power. My DK won't use it, so I don't select that, of course. Omen. Um, this guy's a farmer, so I'll use Gatherer. I don't like the heads-up display. It's just very confusing. I just use the normal, but whatever your preference again. So you continue to add everything that you're going to use for that specific tune. And some of them come with the foobar for Titan, some you have to download. If it doesn't show up under your options on Titan, and you'll see in a minute, then you just go look for it, and most of them are available. And it just makes it easier. You don't have to type in chat, you just click it and your configuration comes up, or you can turn them on or off depending, like recount and stuff like that. So what are we doing here? Adjusting Atlas right off the bat, I just make it opaque and a little smaller. Move my recount meter down here. The rectangular on the left side of that is where I put my Omen meter, but again, it's up to preference, what you like, where you like it. If I need to show a RAID graph, I put it just to the right of my damage meter. Up here, again, right-click the panel. You can start adding these sidebar foobars to Titan. It's just easier to work with that. Like I said, that's, again, preference. Okay, so now we're going to work on your RAID buffs. This is Citrina RAID frames, or buff frames, SBF. So you type /SBF space options, and this window pops up. You go under layout, and there's a drop down bar here where it has buffs and debuffs. So we're going to work with buffs first. You again set the scale, the amount per row. I usually scale them up in a row of 4. It just happens to fit that way. This is for my buffs. Anything that the raid is buffing me or I'm buffing myself, food buffs, all that applies here. You can also mouse over each one. It'll tell you where that buff is coming from. So if you're missing something or something's not correct, you know who's or who isn't doing it, which is a little convenient. Then we go to debuffs. Now, I do mine center page, 2 per row, and gigantic. There's a radio button that says big, right above your scale dial. And when you click that, it goes 2 times or higher, so I can make it like 4 times the size, and they become gigantic. And I set them just to the right of my ice HUD, so that when I get a debuff, there's no reason why I don't know I have it on me. It'll show me the amount of stacks. If I'm tanking, the clock down on each one, so I know what's going on. In the end raid, that's very important to know what debuffs you had and how much clock down. Again, I put it in row of 3 right in front of me. Normally you don't get more than 4. After that, you're usually dead. Sexy maps, real simple. There's no radio button or anything for it. You just right click it and your configuration comes up. You can unlock the map, move it wherever you want as a scale bar, so you can make it bigger. You can change the design. They got some really cool designs to match whatever you like. And then I go to, that's under the main tab. Then you go to buttons, and I remove all the buttons from there because I've got everything on my Titan bar, so I don't need to confuse anything. There's certain other main ones. You have your main standard UI buttons like compass notifications and battleground and stuff like that. I don't need the clock on there. I have it on Titan. So you kind of just figure out what you don't want. You don't need to have your zoom in or out buttons on there because you just mouse over the map and use your wheel and it'll zoom in and out. It's pretty convenient. The coolest thing I like about this add-on is that in raid time, I can right-click it and scale it down to nothing and slide it in the corner, because you don't need a map inside a raid, and it opens up the window a lot more, which is really convenient sometimes. You can also, if you're farming, make it really big so you can cover a wider area too. And on the add-on side, I deselect everything. I end up usually, other than raid finder and stuff, or random finder, I usually end up with 3 tabs, which would be my calendar, my tracking device, whether I'm tracking for minerals or whatever, and my map. Other than that, I don't really need anything. Again, you can change colors to suit whatever of your label of wherever you're at the top. It's a pretty neat program. Like I said, you can put it down on the backsplash at the bottom if you like it there. I just got used to seeing it in the corner from the old school UI, so I just left it there. Like I said, I like it because I can shrink it down to nothing, and it's very convenient that way. And that's basically it. All your other add-ons that, like for Paladin or whatever, um, you would turn them on, or they would be on at this point, because you turn everything on that you need and set it to what you like. Your core UI is set, and good luck, have fun, and happy raiding.